What's up guys, Sal here. So it seems China is ready to punish Apple, Qualcomm and other big American companies to avenge Huawei. Last year, Huawei was added to the US Entity List, which means American companies need to take permission to do business with Huawei. Now after a year, the ban has been further extended for another year, but most importantly, Trump administration is blocking the shipments of semiconductor chips to Huawei from foundries all over the world, which includes TSMC, which currently makes current chipsets for Huawei. You see, companies like Apple, Qualcomm and MediaTek design their own chipsets, but they don't have the infrastructure to produce these chips. That's where Samsung and TSMC come in. TSMC produces chips such as Snapdragon 865 for Qualcomm, A13 Bionic for Apple, and Kirin 990 for Huawei. Now Trump has issued a new rule where TSMC needs to take permission from the US government before making chipsets to Huawei. You might ask, why do TSMC need to take permission from the US since they're not an American company? Well, that's true, but the tech and machineries TSMC use is American made, and that's why they need to obey whatever Trump tells them to, and he doesn't want them to make chips for Huawei. Even after getting banned from using Google services, Huawei still managed to sell 240 million smartphones last year, most of which were sold in China. But getting banned from TSMC or Samsung would totally cripple Huawei and will be the final nail in the coffin for this Chinese giant. By the way, Huawei has been moving the production of some chips to SMIC, which is another Chinese company. The thing is, SMIC is generations behind TSMC and Samsung. They are still at 14nm process nodes, while TSMC and Samsung are making 5nm process nodes. So this is the beginning of the end for Huawei. Without TSMC or Samsung, they can't stay competitive in the smartphone business, not even in their homeland China. Now to counterattack these harsh measures, China is readying its own unreliable entity list, according to a report by China's Global Times. Reuters report that these are the companies the Chinese government is targeting, which are largely dependent on China. An executive council member of the China Society for World Trade Organization studies told the Global Times, and I quote, "China should implement these countermeasures to the extent that the US dare not ask for a mile after being given an inch." He advised China to carry out thorough investigation into relevant US companies and let them feel the pain. With that being said, this is without a doubt gonna be bad for Apple, Qualcomm and other listed companies. Around 15 to 20% of Apple's revenue came from China every year. The majority of domestic Chinese phones use Qualcomm's processors, so these companies will take a huge hit to their revenues from this move from China. But China also needs to understand that this is a double-edged sword. Because if they ban the said American companies from selling within, then these American companies will be prompted to move their production out of China as fast as possible. You see, China is a facilitator of low-cost labor. The strength of China is also its greatest weakness. If the West pulled even half of their production out of China, their economy will decline rapidly. And China really doesn't want that because they have a lot of mouths to feed. Anyway, let me know what you think about this down in the comments. And as always, I'll see you tomorrow. Peace out.